Here is something none of the personal brand gurus want to say out loud. You're not being underestimated because of skill level. No one can deny that you have a vision. The truth that's really hard to see is when you're working inside of the business, your brand hasn't really caught up to your operator level. And with how fast the market is moving, no one is going to patiently wait for you to elevate your brand. The founders getting the seat at your dream tables and lining up waitlists aren't smarter than you, and you are probably more talented. The simple through line is their brand matches their level and yours doesn't yet. I've architected and positioned over 100 founder-led brands, worked with 8-figure operators and enterprise companies, and I specialize in magnetic brand identity. What that means is I help established operators and high-vision builders eliminate brand identity lag so their authority is felt instantly. And if you're at the point where you know who you're becoming, but your identity and brand foundation aren't built yet, DM me 55 on Instagram. That's where we'll talk about VisionCore. It's where vision gets structured into something the market can actually feel. Let's talk about why this keeps happening. Most of the people I build with, they don't lack drive. They make content. They have proof what they do, it helps people. And nearly every one of them have a vision that tugs at their shirt and whispers in their ear, keeping them up at night. But they're growing slower than people who aren't better than them. And that's the part that hurts because their inner voice already knows they're on the right path, but their brand is caught up in a chapter they already left behind. And the days feel longer the more they piece the DIY branding together, working twice as hard to reach half of their target audience. Luckily, the frustration of knowing you're built for more, but the world doesn't see you yet, that's not forever. It's fixable, and that's why you're here. So how do you fix it and diagnose it first? Inside brand identity, there are 5 signals your ideal clients are reading before they ever consume a word of your content. I call them the 5 Visual Affinity Signals. And most high operators are scoring low on at least 3 of them without even knowing it. Here are the signals. Signal 1 is tier perspective. This identifies if your brand identity signals the level your clients are naturally drawn to, or is it outdated? A brand is always reinforcing a promise of who you are, who you serve, and why you serve them. Make sure it's the right promise. Signal 2 is tonality. This signal looks at your visual representation and how it lines up with how your voice sounds. If your tone is structured and disciplined, but your visuals are inconsistent, abrupt, and unpolished, you create a level of distrust before the conversation even starts. Signal 3, consistency. This looks at your touch points and helps you see if they all look like they were built from the same brand system. The last thing you want is to have your people think you are inconsistent, because your ideal clients will not hire inconsistent operators. Signal 4 is depth. Depth is the one people can miss entirely since it's not surface level. Your brand creates a feeling which can build brand affinity if positioned the right way. The best brands create a psychological pull, a magnetism that gets someone to stop, lean in, and trust before they've grown affinity. It can seem like this is accidental, but the truth is that this is strategically engineered. Signal 5 is visual lane ownership. This has to do with your aesthetic, having the level of recognition that allows people to know it's your brand without a name or explanation. If you remove your handle, your logo, or your name, would someone be able to know each piece of your brand is from you? If the answer is no, you haven't established a visual lane yet. Here's the diagnosis. When founders come to me and say they feel stuck, it's rarely visibility, and it's rarely effort. It's that their brand doesn't reflect their actual level. They've outgrown it. And every single sales conversation, every DM, every piece of content is carrying the weight of a perception gap that should have been closed a long time ago. This is not a Canva fix. It's an identity to expression rebuild. And once it's done correctly, your brand stops being a bottleneck and starts being an amplifier that pulls the right people in automatically. If you're already established and you felt that, your brand isn't broken. It's just behind who you've become. DM me 88 on Instagram and I'll tell you straight where your brand is costing your brand affinity and how to meet your clients where they are. In the next video, I'm going deeper into the vision layer, because if your visuals and voice aren't anchored to a clear vision, your brand's just going to drift. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you haven't watched last week's breakdown on why most coaches don't actually have a brand voice, Watch that next.